of wit or wits, the capacity for inventive thought and quick understanding, keen intelligence, a natural aptitude for using words and ideas in a quick and inventive way to create humor. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the official Arc Raiders update 1.0, 1.7.0. I am just going to focus on a few things out of the patch notes that I want you guys to focus on that will change the way you play the game quite drastically. And yes, the reason that I started with the intro that I started with is just to explain to you what my channel is about. There's a lot of people that focus on the blueprints. There's a lot of people that farm certain subjects, in Arc Raiders. If you want to know why you should ever subscribe to this channel, is because I think the wits describes me the best. Innovative, original thoughts, and I solve problems very quickly. So I'm going to tell you what stood out to me in the update notes, because everyone that's carrying on about blueprints doesn't make sense to me. Like, when I think about blueprints and when I think about the expedition, I can quickly figure out that the reason that most people don't want to do the expedition is because they don't want to lose their blueprints, because it takes so long to get blueprints. And then, my second thought, without thinking for more than 5 seconds, is that Embark Studios wants you to wipe your character, to let everyone start on a level playing field. So when they see that players' biggest problem is that they don't want to lose their blueprints, of course, they're going to increase the blueprint spawn rate. Okay, so at the moment, you've got no excuse not to do the expedition unless you haven't completed the expedition because you didn't have time to complete the expedition. And I wouldn't care about the 5 extra skill points if I was you. Like, the 5 million is optional. A lot of people complain about the 5 million. A lot of people make videos on how to make 5 million quickly. I basically just show you how to enjoy the game. I remember the 5 million isn't the main thing. I'm going to hit the 5 million because I've got time to hit the 5 million. But if I didn't have time to hit the 5 million, that's not what's important to me. What's important for me is starting over so that I can experience everything again, so that I can respect my skill tree, because of what I've learned, to use my experience to change the game, to change my experience, to have more fun, to try different things, to take more risks. That's what it's about. So let's focus on what stood out in the update notes for me. The only thing that stood out for me at the beginning of the patch highlights is the added skill tree reset functionality. I really like the fact that if you made a mistake, that you can correct it. It's a really bad feeling if you weren't focusing, or you clicked the wrong thing and you accepted it, and then you can't turn back time, so you wasted a skill point and you don't know how to fix it, or you thought you maxed out a certain skill, but actually you maxed out the wrong skill, so you wasted 4 points. So that's the only thing that stands out here for me. I never went for the Aphelion blueprint because, I'm not a sweaty player. I don't try and compete with people. I am never part of something that's toxic, and I think, I felt like everyone going for the core on the Matriarch was toxic, so I just removed myself from toxic people and a toxic environment. But yeah, the fact that they just added the blueprint to Stellamontes is not a good decision for me, not something that I feel helps the game, because Embark Studios does a lot of things where it feels like they're in love with rats. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, like the Osprey having a scope, but the Jupiter not having a scope. The fact that they give you epic and legendary weapons to kill Ark that's useless against rats. Okay, so everything they do helps the rat. You know, like the rat can go to a queen while you're killing it with a equalizer or a hull cracker, and he doesn't have to fear anything. He can kill you and take the loot. Like there's 100 things I can mention to you guys that Embark Studios does that makes a rat's life better and makes a PvE, PvP player's life worse. I don't have a problem with PvP. I just have a problem with, cowards. And that's basically what a rat is a coward. But at the end of the day, adding the Aphelion Blueprint to Stella Montes, which is a rat infestation, again, just lets me know that they're not really focusing on their main players that's going to keep their game alive. They're focusing on the rats that's going to kill their game. So that's a bad business decision. But like I say, the only thing that stands out for me is the added skill tree reset functionality. I think that's very useful. Talking about skill trees, if you guys just type into Google Metaforge Arc Raiders, you will get a bunch of extensions like maps, events, and a skill builder. And this is the skill builder. So what I think you guys should do before you wipe your character on the 22nd is map out your skills. Okay. Now I know that every content creator out there tells you to go for the security breach because, again, they just copy information. They just follow each other and they go for clicks. They don't really think, like logically. They just, whatever gets clicks, that's what they go for. And, like everyone thinks the security breach is great. I'm not going for the security breach. And even though the security breach was nerfed and I could get everything that's in the security breach by just looting naturally, and it was a very boring playstyle just running for every security breach. Apparently for big content creators that's very exciting, just running for security breaches and not exploring the rest of the map. And now that security breaches are random, security breaches aren't set or fixed spawn points. They are like weapon lockers, and other unique loot, like the medical bags and the gun crates and stuff like that. That's basically what security breaches are like now. And this is the perfect time to go for this skill. Because if you guys haven't lost a ton of loot by dying and not being able to get to the extraction, I'll be very, very surprised. Now, everyone tells you the looting MK3 Survivor backpack is a great backpack, but that's basically just because of the fact that you can stay alive. But I mean, that backpack costs you money, and if you want to fight, there's better backpacks to fight with. I know the looting MK3 Survivor backpack can take a medium shield, but there are better options than that. The biggest thing about that augment is the fact that you can stay alive even when you're down. So I really suggest that you guys build out your character here. Like I'm gonna get 5 extra skill points, so I know that that I can allocate 5 extra skill points somewhere. But it's just like, it's important for you guys to just plan your build out ahead of time. Okay? Like to get to this skill, I have to put skills into stuff that I don't want to put skill points into. Like I don't want to put more than 1 skill point into that. I really don't want to put more than 1 skill point into that, but to get there, I have to. But I know what I'm going to do. I know what build I'm going to take. But it's good to do the build here and save your build. You can share your build. And then every time you come back to this web page, it will show you, the build that you chose. So It's very, very useful. And yeah, like it just helps. It just helps a heck of a lot. You know, that's the big thing for me. It just helps you. Yeah, it just helps you a heck of a lot to plan your build. Like that's the basic build. That I'm gonna go for. That is way more important to me than that. And then, with the 5 extra skill points, I'm probably going to look into one of these skills over here. Or I might look into, unlocks additional items. I'll probably look into those skills over there. But yeah, plan your build ahead of time with Metaforge. Like I say, if you go to Google and you just type in Metaforge Arc Raiders, then you're going to get all the options: the map, the trading, the events, the market, the interactive map, the skill tree. Yeah. You're going to get a lot of options. Another thing that stood out to me was at the utility section: increase loot value in epic keycard rooms to better reflect their rarity. Now, I don't care how much they increase the loot in epic keycard rooms. Most keycard rooms are very, very disappointing. So if you guys don't know, the loot that you get inside a keycard room, you can get anywhere else. Like at some places, the loot inside the keycard room is worse than the loot right outside the keycard room. And there's various instances where I've done a keycard room and then I loot red lockers just outside the keycard room and I get way better loot, than I got in the keycard room. So just a big tip here for you guys: do not, after the expedition, doesn't matter how many keycards you get, don't do keycards outside of night raids. And probably, if you don't like the fact that you can't use a Raider hatch key in a night raid, do the new cold snap. Okay? Just do something to increase the loot in the keycard room. Because you're going to be disappointed most of the time when you do a keycard room. And even if you're not disappointed, you'll be less disappointed when you do it in a cold snap, where you can still use Raider hatch key and you can't easily be camped. Like, that's the best thing about the cold snap update for me. Like, people can't camp on a roof anymore because they're going to get cold. People can't camp in bushes anymore because they're going to get cold. So the cold snap event is definitely my favorite event, because I can use a Raider hatch. Because yes, people can still camp, but it's less rat friendly, which I love. But do yourself a favor after the expedition: just use keycards at night and during cold snap events. You can thank me later. Okay, so here's a few minor things, guys, that stood out to me. Okay, the fact that players can't fall through the map anymore, which happened to me quite a few times, is a good thing. Fixed the fact that, when you're down, you're starting to get to the Raider hatch. Like I told you guys, security lockers are now dynamically spawned across all maps instead of being statically placed. So yeah. And then a nice little thing that I'm going to be focusing on is during electromagnetic storms, lightning strike sometimes leaves behind a valuable item. So they're not saying a common item, they're saying a valuable item. So I'm definitely going to be looking at those lightning strikes from now on, because usually the lightning strike is right on top of me. And then increase the number of possible Great Moulane spawn locations across all maps. I think that's very important, because the Great Moulane is a fundamental item in all your healing, in crafting most of your healing items. Okay, so another thing that stood out to me is fixed incorrect item tooltips for arc stun duration. I definitely knew that the stun durations weren't accurate, because the stun grenade tells you that you're going to stun an arc for 10 seconds, and then you throw a bastion with it, counting in your head so that you know how much time you have to plant the mines on the back of the bastion or place the mine on the bastion. And then, the bastion just starts moving again after 6 or 7 seconds, and then you die. So yeah, it's very important for them to give you the correct information so that you don't die unnecessarily because their information is wrong. Yes, you can learn from your mistakes, but it's a good thing when the information that they give you is actually accurate. And then that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. They did boost two of the skills which you might want to look at. Like when they make a change to a skill, it could be broken, it could be a little bit too overpowered. But like you guys can see, effortless roll skill now provides greater stamina cost reduction. So looking into that skill, will probably help you. The calming stroll, I hardly ever walk. I know people walk sometimes, but those are PvP focused players. I'm not really a PvP focused player, so I don't care about walking. But effortless roll might be a good idea. And now I'm just going to show you a few things that I like about the update and give you some information that nobody has given you. And then I'm going to show you how you can stand right in front of a rocketeer and kill it without worrying about it. Like you can face a rocketeer man to man, like rocketeer versus you, without cover, in the open, with it firing at you. You can take down a rocketeer. I'm going to show you how to do it, and then I'm going to physically do it on my stream. After this video, I'm going to start streaming Arc Raiders, and then I'll show you how I literally kill a rocketeer in the open while it's actively shooting at me with its lasers. I don't mean it's far away. I mean it's on top of me, and it's targeting me with the lasers, and then I just kill it. So if you want to see that, come join me in the stream after this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a nice little thing here is that you can connect snowballs from certain patches like this, and you can repeatedly loot them. And I like the PvE element of it. Friends can have fun together. Like a lot of us can't experience snow or snowball fights, so very, very nice addition, for the PvE players and the people that just like having fun. And yeah, this is really, really a nice addition to me. I just picked up a few snowballs to see if they make different sounds. I know they're not going to damage players. I know they're not going to damage Arc. But I was just throwing different surfaces to see if I can maybe use it tactically, But yeah, it's a fun little thing. Really, really nice. And yeah, definitely something that I enjoyed testing in the update. Then these new stun mines are very, very effective. Now, the sound is very low, so you guys won't be able to hear it. But yeah, after I placed these three stun mines, as I fell down, I heard someone running towards me, and they would have killed me if that stun grenade didn't knock them off their feet. There you can hear it going off. And those stun grenades can help you in various situations because it knocks the player off their feet, giving you time to kill them or giving you time to get away. And then this is probably the most important information that I want to give you about the Cold Snap update. And I basically just stood in the snow to understand what the levels are of getting cold on the new Cold Snap event. And yes, it takes 1 minute and 45 seconds before your character starts freezing and losing health quite rapidly. You can counter the health loss with like bandages and stuff, but yeah, I just thought it might be important to you guys to understand that it takes exactly 1 minute and 45 seconds for you to start losing health, and then it takes 25 seconds for you to recover so that you can run out again. So it's got various stages, but I think a lot of people start freaking out when they covered in snow. You know, like at the beginning, you've got no snow on you, and then at some point, you are covered in snow. And it's very easy to panic. So information is always good. And basically, if you want an indicator, as soon as your overlay gets this frost effect around it, that's when you should really start looking for cover. You know, not when the frost effect starts. I mean, when you can't ignore it, like now. You know, the frost effect gets worse and worse on your screen. The overlay gets worse and worse. And that means you're going to get close to losing health. Okay, so there we start losing health exactly a minute and 45 seconds after we went outside. And then because I'm inside now, you can see the overlay more clearly now. And it's that overlay that you should focus on. You know, the worse the overlay gets, the more you should start thinking about getting into any kind of cover. Because, yeah, like you being covered with snow isn't really when you should start worrying. And like I say, exactly 25 seconds and you can carry on. So I thought that might help you. Definitely helps me. And then the same raid, I found 2 blueprints. You know, I spawned in late to the raid. I didn't loot a lot of containers. This isn't a big issue to me. I know why Embark Studios did it. But if you want to find a lot of blueprints, guys, just loot a lot of containers. There, you know, most people's problem with the expedition was losing the blueprints. You're gonna get the blueprints so fast now, so fast. It's basically almost broken. Okay, but don't let the blueprint stop you. And then here I am showing you how you can take on a Rocketeer. Like someone wanted me to extract with him. And then when they saw me shooting the Rocketeer, they just freaked out and ran away. But yeah, what I want you to focus on here is not me killing the Rocketeer. Just testing something. I want you to focus on its lasers. When a Rocketeer targets you when it's on top of you. No. Oh my God. So the guys are freaking out and ran away. When a Rocketeer targets you, it has like a bunch of lasers that come together. And as soon as the laser comes together, that's when he shoots. So when you try this tactic, shoot the turbine that's keeping it in the air. As it's forming the lasers, as you see the lasers forming, shoot the turbines then. And this is a level 1 anvil, guys. There's not a level 2, there's not a level 4 anvil. This is not a Venator with 22 rounds. And as you can see, I'm literally standing in front of it. And I'm going to shoot there. Now it's going to hit me because I shot. You have to shoot as it's forming the laser, not when it's done forming the laser. Okay? And like this was the first time I tried it. But now that I've tried it, I know I can do it. Okay? So if you want to see me kill a Rocketeer face to face, just join the stream after you've watched this video. And yeah, with the new Raider currency, you know, the blue money that we get to buy the Raider deck items. A lot of people asked me yesterday in the stream, when are we going to get the new Raider deck? We're going to get the new Raider deck the 26th of December. So that's going to be like, you know, if you don't get any presents during Christmas, at least you're going to get some presents after Christmas. Okay. And the reason I'm showing you this is you can use the blue money, the blue currency that you use for the Raider deck to buy a bunch of items that you can sell. And you can buy a bunch of attachments, you know, which is going to help you a lot as well to stay alive a little bit longer while you are collecting that money. So, you know, I've got a ton of blue currency, so I can do this every day. You know, I can buy 2 Raider hatch keys every day. And, you know, like the stuff that I sold was probably worth 20K. So every day is an extra 20K. You've got 5 days left. That's an extra 100K. And then because you can put attachments on your, because you can get those attachments so cheaply, you can put attachments on your weapons and maybe stay alive longer and collect more loot. But what I want to end this video with, guys, is that there's no reason not to do the expedition unless you don't have time to complete the expedition, okay? For everyone that used blueprints as an excuse, you are going to find, if you don't go for the expedition, you are going to have all the blueprints probably at the end of December. And then you're going to have nothing to do. Like, you're not going to have any excitement anymore. You're not going to look forward to anything anymore. The most boring thing about an extraction shooter is when you've got everything. So do yourself a favor, do the expedition, enjoy the game with everyone else, do the quest again, redo your skill tree, experience something different, learn from your mistakes, and just come join us. Start fresh. Let that experience you're earning actually mean something. You're going to get a bunch of items for free again. Use it more wisely this time. Don't delete all your items like me 10 times, because now at least at some point after 2 months, you're going to need those items or that money. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to stream Arc Raiders after this. Cheers.